what motivates me to give back is my calling. It's my purpose. I think the motivation is, the constant, like being with girls every day, and I see their joy. I always remember, different experiences with girls. For an example, when a girl is sharing a quote, or if I read a survey, or I just bump into her at a store. And one day I remember a girl told me, "Thank you for just making it easier for me." So those things make you want to get up again and try harder, or to just keep on going.
Starting to give back doesn't always have to just start with money. That many of us have time, we have intellect, we have competencies that start at a very young age. And so if we can start to teach the next generation, don't wait for what you will have, but look at what you do have, what's already in your hand and your heart, and get active. I think we can really start to see transformative impact from every generation. And the encouragement I would just give to young people is a quote that I really love. It's an old African proverb. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. I think there's so much we can do together. And sometimes we look at ourselves and say, well, what can I do? But if we start looking around and saying, what can we do? There's a lot of impact that can be had.
There's a perception that you have to be super wealthy, maybe third or fourth generation wealth, inheritance, etc., to have impact on a transformative change, and to have endowments and fellowships and funds, etc. And I attended a seminar over 20 some years ago that talked about families and how family funds and family engagement in philanthropy can truly have substantial impact. And we're not talking about from a volunteer perspective, we're talking about taking real financial dollars, hard-earned dollars or investments. And that is when I got the idea that I can make a change, whether I'm Oprah or Gates or any of those folks, that I can definitely make a change. And so we started the Holiday Family Fund, and my children were very instrumental in it having the focus on education. That was not originally what the fund was for. It was for emergency assistance. But they felt that education was an equalizer, that education was power. And so that's when we got into the scholarships. And all of us have been the recipients of scholarships. And so that is part of our family legacy into the fund, which is now over 20 years old.
The Fashion and Philanthropy Foundation is something that I have created to help merge fashion with the idea of giving back with philanthropy. And I absolutely love that. I love to give back, but I'm learning now that it's best to give back kind of in a way, to have like a vessel as opposed to just walking down the street and just throwing money at everybody. So when I was a kid, I used to actually think of myself doing that, just like throwing money and candy and stuff, at people and just making brightening up their day. But that's probably not the best way to do things. So I have now the Fashion and Philanthropy Foundation, and it is through that my store, Very Ashley, we create these amazing fashion shows and fashion events filled with music and food, obviously fashion, but the whole point of it is to raise money to give back to local nonprofits. So this year, we have an amazing event, and we are raising money for Partnership for the Future. And that's a nonprofit that helps get kids to and through college. And last year, we raised money for the Metropolitan Business League, which they help foster small businesses and small women and minority owned businesses. So it's just really amazing to, use those avenues, those vessels as a way to give back to the community that has literally given so much to me. One of the reasons why I was having all these events, I was like a struggling business. Barry Ashley was like really hurting in 2020 and 2021. So I felt the pain of a lot of people. So I'm like, okay, well, let's put into the kindness bank. And I didn't have a lot of money to give, but I did have like a network of people. So like, let's have a fashion show. Let's have this event. Let's have something where we can all come together. And so that was great. And the byproduct of that, because I really did it out of a pure heart, because there were people who were really struggling way more than I was. But the byproduct of that were people knew my business. They knew me now, and they would come and shop with me too. So it does kind of work in a circle, but you really have to do it with a cheerful heart, and you really just start where you are. Don't put this big expectation on yourself that you have to like donate more than you can. Like you literally really can start with $1, especially if you just get a bunch of your friends and you all just put in $1 and give to somebody, and like it really helps out.
We have people who aren't physically getting into the trenches. They're sending money, but they're not spending their time. And for me, time is one of the most precious things and most expensive things that we have. Um, I would love to say it's on our side, but things move very, very fast nowadays just because of technology and et cetera. And so, it's just realizing that there's a real need, that there was there's a space in there that's being missed when it comes to doing not just volunteering or giving money, but just this cohesion of community and being able to reach one another on a level outside of politics or outside of your day job, And so there's a space that can be filled and experienced. The other part is that knowing that every day um, I have a choice and a chance, and so um, choose to make an impact, choose to help one person or two people or what have you,